inspired me to be an architect? Well, it was probably my first girlfriend, my first serious girlfriend I went out with for about 5 years, and her father was just a really balanced person, just seemed to have everything you needed in life. He had a great family, he was passionate about his work, and he was doing something meaningful. He wasn't that wealthy, and that was but he was comfortable. And I thought if I could ever put that whole package together in my life, I'd be very happy. And here I am 30 years later, and I think I made the right decision. Generating ideas comes from a multivalent source of inputs. It comes from your social life, it comes from your history, it comes from what you're doing at breakfast, it comes from what you saw the night before, and what your colleagues are doing, what's happening out there in society in a broad sense, and all those inputs come in to a person as a feeling. It's what makes up my character. Solving a problem when I just started architecture. That's 25, 30 years ago. I was doing a dog kennel for my blue heeler. A dog kennel could be anything. Where do you start with that design solution? He's a blue heeler, Australian dog, so I was very keen on having a kennel that reflected his personality. So it's got ripple iron, a sort of a mini version of corrugated iron, and I used put a veranda on the front of the kennel, and I used tea tree stumps as the columns. So I had this eclectic mix of Australian iconographic elements in this one design solution, and I love that dog kennel. And my brother-in-law still owns it 30 years later. So it was an appropriate response. It was a bit kooky, but it suited the person I was doing it for. That's my dog. So recently I had a client come to me for a house in Flinders, embedded in the bush, and it's a holiday house. It could have been anything, but I really wanted to use some local material, much like my dog kennel. So I ended up, the builder sourcing some local tea tree from a landscape company. We called it the tea tree house, and we used the same tactile material to reflect its location. And it's that sort of site-specific response which gives architecture relevance. Other things that inspire me are like the ideas themselves, intangible. So surfing is a big part of my life, and it's a touchstone activity that takes me back to the core. Other people that inspire me are people like certainly musicians, artists, just ordinary people. People are doing their job well. Other architects that inspire me are Herzog and de Meuron, Alva A. Aalto, and some of the classic architects like Corbusier and Mies, the classic architects, but also contemporary architects doing work here in this city. My dream creative project. Do you know what? The dream creative project is not something that has no boundaries, because I think they're the toughest. The dream creative project is where I have a collaborative association with the client himself or herself. They're trusting and willing to push the boundaries, but also have site-specific constraints. That is, it's not a fictitious location. If you came to me and said, I've got this terrace, and my only way to fit your program into this terrace is to embed it in the hill, that'd be awesome.